What it is, folks, your homeboy Ferg back again with another edition of this Put It On Something Special that I call Who's the GOAT QB. As you can see today, we will be looking at the resume of Mr. Warren Moon. Warren Moon is one of the main reasons I started this project. When I would talk on the phone to my brother Tim G. Jacob about various quarterbacks, Warren Moon would come up in the discussion and Dan Marino. Because growing up, we heard about these guys and we got to see some of these guys' career and see how they were able to throw the ball and put up crazy stats. But neither one had a Super Bowl. So I wanted to go back and really evaluate, really analyze, and try to see what's the bigger picture. Fill in the details. You know what I'm talking about? I want to get the full story. And what I learned about Warren Moon is not only interesting, it's really infuriating. It's really infuriating. But before I get into that, okay, y'all need to go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that button. It costs you nothing to hit that button. You feel me? Also, make sure y'all follow me on social media. Y'all see it down there in the description. And make sure you're shopping with Statement Tees. That Statement Tees, every t-shirt you wear makes a statement. You feel me? But let's go ahead and get into it, man. We're talking about one of the greatest. We're talking about one of the best pure passers in the history of this game, Warren Moon. Okay, he played 17 seasons in the NFL from 1984 to 2000. He played 10 of those seasons with Houston. That's what he's most known for. 3 with Minnesota, 2 with Kansas City, and 2 with Seattle. If you get a chance, y'all, you need to go watch his football life. Because again, this shit is so... His stories is something else. It's few stories like his. I don't know if there's a story like his. You have plenty of stories of black quarterbacks dealing with bullshit and racism. You see that going on right now with all this heat that Lamar Jackson is catching. I even heard somebody talking down on Patrick Mahomes recently. This talking about he just plays backyard football. Come on, it's coded language. But we've seen this, okay, with the black quarterback. And in Warren Moon's day and prior to that, you had so many black quarterbacks coming out of high school and college being forced to change their positions. Many of them did that. Warren Moon, though, is unique because he didn't change the position, dealt with bullshit, but still went on to have a Hall of Fame career. Man, this man got death threats because of his performance. He got death threats for being excellent. Like, this shit crazy. But that's America. If you gotta go check out his football life. I'm just give y'all some of the details before we just get to the resume, okay? Even though this man was all state in high school, no college recruited him to be a quarterback. Okay. He did end up playing college football for Washington, though. And as a senior, he led them to a conference championship and led them to a Rose Bowl berth in which they beat Michigan. Okay? They beat one of these blue blood programs, okay, in the Rose Bowl. That's one of them New Year's Day games. That's one of the biggest games, period. Okay, before you got the college football playoff and all that kind of stuff, you just had those bowl games. And to play in that doggone Rose Bowl was some of the biggest shit in the sport. Shit in sports, period. and his team beat Michigan. He was the MVP of the game. He was Conference Player of the Year and still went undrafted because he refused to change his position. He refused to switch from quarterback. That's bullshit, America. That anybody was trying to force him to do so. That is bullshit. But he went undrafted, and he ended up going to the CFL and played there for 6 seasons. Racism took 6 years from this man. Now, I don't know. Maybe he could have come back sooner. I don't know. I would have to do some further research on that. But I know because of bullshit, he ended up going to play in the CFL. In those 6 seasons, he was marvelous. He won 5 championships. He won numerous awards, including their version of the MVP. He put up stupid numbers. He was called the best passer that Canada had ever seen. This man didn't play in the NFL until he was 28 years old, y'all. See, these young boys today, while they're catching it, they don't see it as overtly as somebody like Warren Moon called it. This is crazy. Crazy. So it's another reason, though, why this project is so important, because when you look at the record book, y'all, you got to know the full content. That's why I hate the fact that Hov said on that stage, men lie, women lie, numbers though. That the shit probably was out before Hov said that. Jay-Z, I'm talking about America. That phrase probably was out before he said that, but you know, that kind of, it became trending and shit. No, numbers do lie without context. What would this man's numbers be like if you give him those 6 years? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm gonna tell you what his numbers are shortly, okay? But that's some bullshit. But he finally played in the league when he was 28. And when he finally got his chance, he became the highest paid player in the league. So he came in with a target on his back, being black, and for also getting that bag like that. And he went on to have a Hall of Fame career. Now he was a part of that legendary Bills comeback, you know, when the Bills came all the way back. That was against Warren Moon and his Houston Oilers. So he was on the bad end of some history as well, okay? But this motherfucker one of them ones. He made the Pro Bowl at 41 years old with the Seattle Seahawks. And he was the first black quarterback to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, okay? One of them was. So let's look at his resume. He didn't win an MVP, but like I said, he is in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame class of 2006. But let's look at a year where you can argue that he should have won the MVP, okay? And that was in 1990, in which he won the AP Offensive Player of the Year. But look at these numbers. For that year, Joe Montana had 3,944 passing yards to Warren Moon's 4,689. Both of them played in 15 games, so don't give me that. Warren Moon had 33 touchdowns to Joe Montana's 26. Warren Moon had 13 interceptions to Joe Montana's 16 interceptions. Like, and Warren Moon finished third with those numbers. He finished third. Okay, you can argue Randall Cunningham should have had the award. Randall threw for 3,466 yards, 30 touchdowns, and damn near ran for 1,000 yards on the ground with 942 and gave you 5 more rushing touchdowns. Okay, these were the guys that came in second and third to Joe Montana that year. But y'all know it's the ultimate team game, but they always give the quarterback the lion's share of the credit for team success. 49ers went 14-2 that year. I want to say the Eagles went 10-6, and I want to say the Oilers went 9-7. So even though Randall and Warren's individual statistics were superior, and whereas Joe Montana's team was superior, since the record was better, they gave to Joe Montana. You know what I'm saying? So devil is in the detail, man. You know what I'm saying? That man could clearly argue he should have won the MVP that year. I know if I was a Houston Oilers fan back then, shit, I would be saying my guy deserved that fucking MVP. He didn't win any Super Bowls. He didn't appear in any Super Bowls, okay? Like I told you, this is one of those things I was always talking to my brother about. Like, dang, he put up numbers. Why in the hell they couldn't get to the bowl? Okay, we're going to look at his team later on. All right, his playoff record was 3-7. His playoff passing yard was 2,870. Playoff passing yards per game was 287. Damn near 300 yards. All right. Playoff touchdowns was 17. Playoff interceptions was 14. His playoff passer rating was 84.9. His regular season record was 102 and 101. So just one game over 500. His regular season passing touchdowns were 291, and that ranked 4th when he retired. That's now 16th. His regular season INTs were 233. That ranked 11th when he retired. Is now 16th as I tape. He threw for 49,325 yards during his career, which ranked 3rd when he retired. Okay, so he was fucking up there for real. And that's with 6 years being taken away from him, America. That's with 6 years. He probably breaks the record. He quite possibly could have thrown for more yards than Marino. You feel me? Like this. That's just bullshit. Anyway, all right. But I told you that ranked 3rd when he retired is now 13th. His regular season passer rating was 80.9. That's tied for 19th at his retirement. Is now 77. His regular season passing yards per game were 237.1. Rushing yards was 543. Rushing touchdowns, 22. The Warren Moon, I remember in the clips I've seen them, you really don't see him getting down too much with his leg, you know, to my really a pure pocket passer. It's another reason why the racism is so ignorant. God damn, the man is a textbook pocket passer. But he didn't have the complexion for the connection for the protection. All right. But let's look at the team that was around. You feel me? Like I told y'all, no Super Bowls, no Super Bowl appearances. Had that legendary fall off against the Bills in the playoffs. So let's look at it, man, and try to see why the man didn't go to the bowl. We know top 10 scoring defenses. I've shown y'all that through this project. It's very important to having success in the postseason. All right, you do good. You can keep them motherfuckers out of the end zone throughout this regular season. Typically, that translates into the postseason, okay? And so he had 4 top 10 scoring defenses in his career. He had 3 in Houston in the 90s. He had 1 in Seattle. But in the 1980s, his defenses were routinely in the 20s, okay? In terms of rushing offenses, in a time where running the ball was still that shit, he only had 2 top 10 rushing offenses in his career, 1 in Houston and 1 in Kansas City in his last year. And he only played in 2 games that year. You know what I'm talking about? So for real, when you think about who Warren Moon was, you think about really had 1 ever. Now they did like to throw that ball around down there now. They like to throw that ball. So maybe that plays into it, the play calling and things like that. But he only had 1. Some of the notable coaches that he played for were Jerry Glanville, Jack Party, Dennis Green, who, as I said in another video, I think he will get in the Hall of Fame. and Dennis Erickson. He played with Dennis Erickson in Seattle. In terms of his notable offensive teammates, he played with Hall of Fame lineman Bruce Matthews, who's in the class of 2007. Matthews played with Moon from 1984 to 1993. He made 9 All-Pro teams during that time and won Offensive Lineman of the Year 3 times. So this is one of the greatest linemen of all time, for real, for real. He played very, very briefly with legendary running back Earl Campbell, Hall of Fame running back in the class of 1991. One of my favorite running backs to go and look at his highlights and stuff like that. This is one of the most rugged running backs of all time. And unfortunately, it showed up on his body too. You feel me? But this man was great. But he only played with Moon in 1984, and after 6 games, he was traded to the Saints for a first-round pick. Which, when I learned that, I was like, that's kind of weird because he had rushed for 1,500 yards the previous season. So I don't know what was up there. But Earl Campbell, one of the greatest running backs of all time. Y'all look him up. You don't know what I'm talking about. He also played with Mike Munchak, Hall of Fame guard in the class of 2001. He played with Moon from 1984 to 1993, and he made 10 All-Pro teams. Okay, so he one of them ones. Moon also had an opportunity to play with Chris Carter, Hall of Fame wide receiver in the class of 2013. As I said on the previous video, if you haven't seen CC's Hall of Fame speech, go listen to it. I've heard it many times. My wife loves Hall of Fame speeches, you feel me? And I'm taping this right now the night before the new inductees going to the Hall of Fame, so I'm sure I'll be hearing some more. But CC got one of them dope speeches, and he deserves that because he one of the dopest wide receivers of all time. Okay, and Moon had the opportunity to play with CC from 1994 to 1996 in Minnesota. Chris Carter had some of the greatest hands I've ever seen in my life. I consider him one of the greatest receivers, point blank period. He's a member of the all 1990s team. Okay, but one thing that y'all notice for his years in Houston, you don't see any skill guys with him that have made it to the Hall of Fame. Okay, you don't see wide receivers, no tight end, running back. Like I told you, got Earl Campbell, but Earl Campbell was there just 6 games with him. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like he had Jerry Rice, like Joe had. Or it ain't like he had Shannon Sharp, like John had. You feel me? And they took 6 years from this man. Or bare minimum, they didn't draft him, okay? Again, maybe he could have, after 1 or 2 years of showing out in the CFL, maybe they would have said, okay, shit, no, he for real. I don't know. I had to research that. But I know it was utter bullshit that this man didn't go straight into the NFL after what he did at the high school level, being an all-state guy, what he did, more importantly, on the collegiate level, being an all-conference quarterback, being the conference player of the year, leading his team to a conference title, leading his team to a Rose Bowl victory over the Michigan Wolverines, and you telling me a motherfucker like this does not get drafted? That's bullshit. That's racism, man. You feel me? And we still see some of this to this day. So it's one of those things that animates me and angers me, really, when I see folks talking ball and they get to talking about their quarterback position, man. And I want y'all youngins out there, and for my OGs out here, make sure y'all are imparting this on your youngins, that if they're playing ball, make sure they're studying the game and make sure they're studying film and trying to understand the intricacies of the game. and the proper mechanics and all that shit. Because all these things are things that these motherfuckers think we cannot do as black people, as black men. You know what I'm saying? And Warren Moon proved them wrong. He proved them wrong. But yet and still, you still see so many people still. You see way more black quarterbacks now. But it's still that, can they do it? Almost everyone you hear about, it's all these question marks about can they do it in the pocket. Like even like a guy like Russell Wilson, who you hear him talk ball, you're like, okay, this is a heady guy. But still all this talk like he can't do it from the pocket. Like I just said, all this talk about Patrick Mahomes, that he can't do it from the pocket. Now, Patrick Mahomes does have crazy talent. Probably the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. Now, I used to say that was Aaron Rodgers, but I've seen Patrick do some things with his legs that I haven't seen Aaron do. And Aaron a mobile motherfucker. But Patrick Mahomes has shown shit. He got an arm second to none. He got some wheels on him. And I did see the interview where he was like, yo, he just now learning to read defenses. But I also heard shit like that from guys like Brett Favre, and nobody would look. Well, so it's that stigma. And Warren Moon said, fuck your stigma. I'm not changing my position. I'll go up here and dominate in Canada. Then I'll come back. You're going to have to give me this bag. And yeah, he didn't win the Super Bowl, but he got that gold jacket. So whether you consider him the GOAT quarterback or not, he's definitely a trailblazer for all these black quarterbacks that you see out there today. You know, especially guys like Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Because Warren Moon was playing ball in Houston and Texas, and y'all know football is goddamn religious in Texas. And Dak is playing for the most famous team in the world, most profitable team in the world. Guys like him owe a lot to Warren Moon. You feel me? And I think they probably could learn some stuff from him and some of the stuff he had to deal with being elite. I know Doug Williams is the first black quarterback to get that Super Bowl, but Doug Williams was not in Warren Moon's ballpark at the NFL level. This man was elite. And who knows? I'm sure his statistics will be even more gaudy if not for the racist bullshit. Maybe in those 6 years he would have gotten a bowl. Who knows? We've seen some players come in and win one early. We saw Russell Wilson win one early with the right situation. He had the defense, he had the running game, so she wouldn't won one. We saw Ben Roethlisberger win early. Who knows? In those first 6 years, he might have gotten a Super Bowl. But we don't know that because of racist bullshit. So, let me know what y'all think, though. Y'all real ones that fuck with Warren Moon for real? Do y'all think that he has a claim to be called the GOAT quarterback? You feel me? Hey, and don't forget, hit that button. Subscribe. It costs you nothing to hit that button. Okay? And I'm going to keep asking the question. Who's the GOAT QB? All right? Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me across all social media platforms. Like the videos and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit Statement Tees, LLC.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.